Hey everyone, it's Chris, aka Nitropan. Welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be working on movements that are passing. It's like defensive movements, so passing, catch, slips, and holds. So let's just get right into it. So what a pass is, right? Obviously, when you're in a defensive position, we just talked about blocks, or you can block an actual strike coming towards you. A pass is you redirecting a punch, right? So, for instance, if someone's throwing their jab or their cross, right? So if I looked at that, so this jab would be coming on this side of my body, right? So to pass a jab, I'm just going to redirect it. So as it's coming towards me as a target, I'm not going to reach out to swipe it, but what I'm going to do is as it gets closer, I'm just going to push it out of the way, right? So it's like, and you're going to put force behind this, because if you just do this, most likely, a glove is pretty big, most likely it's going to hit its target. But if you put some force into this, right, you're going to make them miss their target. Now, they may hit you in the shoulder or whatever, but it's not going to be as effective as it hitting you right in the chin. Now, depending on how light their punch is or how hard it is, you're going to have to vary how hard you pass, right? So a jab, passing it, the jab may go down this way, right? And now depending on how much force they put into their jab, right? Now their hands down here, right? So I could return with a cross, right? So I pass it, return with a cross, right? Because now they're wide open. So similar to passing a jab, you could pass a cross, right? And in this instance, you could even get them to clear your hand, right? You could clear a jab, but remember, this hand is further back from your front hand, so you would have to bring it out to do that. I'd recommend just being safe and just clearing it like this, right? And for the cross, you do the same thing. Where you are, you're just going to put force into it and make them. You're going to alter their movement, right? So instead of coming straight at you like this, you're going to move it down, and depending on how much force you put into it, right, you can make them drop it significantly, or you can just make them miss their target, right? So that's the basic pass, right? And then the other movement is, as they're punching, you can catch it, right? And it's not to catch it like try to hold it, but it's just to catch it, so you made them hit the target earlier than they were anticipating. So if I'm throwing a cross and I'm anticipating going all this way, but I'm being caught this early with force, right? And I'm not recognizing that, right? So boom, I'm being caught because someone's going to catch the jab or catch the cross, right? Put their hands out and catch it. Right, not too far, not like this, because obviously someone could fake and then throw a hook if you bring your hands out too far, right? And you don't want to bring out both hands like that. So you can catch, right? Now you can also, that would be the cross you would catch like that. You can also catch hooks, right? So if someone's throwing their lead hook at you, right, instead of just blocking it, right, this is more of a, we'll talk about this. This is more of a slip. You can catch it by just being firm with it and then returning it, right? Obviously, you won't be able to do this. I would never recommend you doing that, right? Because that leaves this side of your body exposed, right? So you would catch it the same way you would block it, right? Right? And then, so next we would talk about slips, right? So a slip is just a slight movement, right? So if someone's throwing their jab at me, right, I would move as if I was throwing my cross, and that's enough of a distance that that it would be, they would clear me, or they wouldn't hit me right on target, and I would be able to evade that punch, right? So I'm right here to slip, and now my head's in a different spot, right? So similar, you could slip across, right? And you can also slip by just an evade, right? So if someone's throwing their cross, you can just step back, and now what you've done is you've moved back your body. You're still like it's a wider stance you're maintaining, and don't move your front foot. But you maintain that stance, and you're still firm. It's a little bit wider. Obviously, you don't want to be stuck here for too long, but it's enough that they won't be able to reach their punches, right? So if they're throwing their jab cross, right, I could pass their jab and slip their cross like that, right? Could slip like this, so I could slip their jab, slip their cross, or slip their cross, right? So that slips, and then the last one is a hold, right? So as they are about to execute some type of punch, what you're going to do is you're going to reach forward and almost push back, so they can't. For instance, if I'm throwing a cross, right, you're going to push back, so I can't even move. I can't even put that cross. I can't put the energy into that cross. So boom, right? I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop you there, right? And obviously you follow up. You stop their movement, right? And then you follow up, right? So we'll do the same thing on the other side, right? So we have our passes, right? So pass the jab, right? Punch coming at you, boom, right? So southpaw, pass, right? It kind of looks similar to blocking an uppercut, right? But in blocking an uppercut, you keep your hand here. In a pass scenario, you're just timing that punch, and you're gonna knock it down, right? Hopefully they just clear you like this, and they're gonna be in a very bad scenario for a return, right? Because if they just threw that hand, boom, you should be able to pass and throw across, right? Similar with the cross. If they're coming through, boom, right? Don't reach out. Don't reach out to do stuff, because somebody could trick you. If someone sees you doing things and they understand this is like the practice that you got, so if I'm always reaching forward to do something, after you do it a few times, your opponent starts to think, okay, I start seeing the holes in their game, right? So if you're reaching out to pass things, right, all someone has to do is fake that movement. You reached out, right? And then they could come in with a hook, a head kick, whatever they want. So you want to start to perfect some of your movements so that you don't like overdo something, right? Now, if you do it once, just try not to do it again, because if you do it once, your opponent thinks, oh, that's what they're going to do all the time, and you don't want to do that all the time, right? Because then you give away, some of the holes in your game, right? And everyone has holes in their game, so that was your pass on both sides, right? And then you got your catch, right? So what you're going to do here is you're going to catch the punch before it hits its target, and you're going to really mess up their train of thought, right? Because they were thinking, I'm going to do this, and they went like this. I can't get my punches through because my elbows are bent, right? So it's not fulfilling what I wanted to do, right? You're gonna catch, right? Don't get into this game too much, because catching because you're trying to get them closer to before they hit their target. And I wouldn't recommend that you do this continuously, right? You gotta mix them up. So if you catch, slip, right? Or block, block. If you're always blocking, they know that your opponent knows, oh, I'm going to be throwing something, they're going to always block. So if I throw a punch, they're going to block. Now they leave their lower body, so I just fake kick, right? And in that scenario, it's a bad thing, right? So you want to develop all these skills, right? You want to know how to catch, you want to know how to pass, right? And your slips, right? So slip, right? So that, like I said, it's like you're throwing those punches, but you're just not. So this would be a slip like a hook, right? You just, as if you're throwing that hook, right? Now you don't have to turn your feet because you're not going to fulfill the entire movement, right? I'm not going to be out that far. I'm just going to be enough to throw off their punch from hitting it full contact, right? Now obviously you want to keep your hands up. I'm dropping my hands to show you how far my head is clearing with these slips, right? If I get closer, you can understand. Right now, it might not look as far in terms of clearance, but it's significant enough. It's about 3-4 inches of a clearance, right? So those are slips, right? And then you got your hold. So as someone's throwing something, you reach forward and you just prevent them from doing it, right? And you can hold them on their gloves, you can hold them on their shoulders, whatever prevents them from executing what they're going to execute, right? So the more you tie up people like this, the harder it is for them to get off their game plan, right? So if someone's gonna do something, I go and hold them before they can execute it, right? So this would be a cross if my opponent was southpaw as well, right? Prevent them from executing that cross, right? It's going to throw off their entire game plan, right? So so that was an overview of passes, catches, slips, and holds, and we will be going into more detail with more of these videos. I will be looking at fakes and feints, as well as some other techniques that I might put into more an advanced classes and stuff like that. So stay tuned, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me, let us say, and see you next time. Okay, take care, bye.